I was telling the kids the origin of the Sloppy Joe.
I don't know the origin of the Sloppy Joe.
Yes, it was named after a drunk man named Joe, and he made this dinner, and they called him Sloppy Joe.
Are you for real? And it's sloppy.
Well, he was Joe, so he was drunk. Sloppy Joe.
These are sloppy sloppy because of his drunken state.
Exactly.
Wow. So is that the true story?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I made that up to the kids. They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Fucking, he was drunk. This guy named Joe.
Oh, there goes
fucking Sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
And there was ugly ass fucking food with burger and barbecue sauce, like a nasty bastard." Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tom.
And we took a couple week hiatus.
We did. We were gone last weekend. And by gone, I mean, wandering somewhere in my head.
We were just, there's just a lot going on.
It was my fault.
Well, no, not really, because I was out of town for work, and so I was kind of like...
Yeah, you're right. It was your fault.
Yeah, your fault.
It was all your fault.
But then you had things going on.
Yeah, we've been painting and putting in flooring and, boy, just everything fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing last year with my cabinets.
Yeah.
Which are still sitting... But, you doing that, like you guys doing your floors.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. It just, like, I was trying to be lazy for my 2 day. Like, I took 2 days off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday. Right?
Yeah. And I was like, then I kind of started feeling bad. Like, oh, shit. You're doing floors and I'm sitting here not doing shit. But then, that's where I got, like, for me, I started thinking, like, it's okay for me to take a couple days and just not do shit. Because I do a lot of shit at the house. Mm-hmm. It might not be like floors, but it's like, I do like the typical like wife thing.
Daily maintenance, man. That's
I do that like
its own tough. Yeah.
I'm like, take care of the kids, cooking the dinners and shit. And so I was off for a week, or I was off in Oregon the week prior. And so, I needed to chill. And then my birthday was Sunday too. So obviously it could be my fault too, because my birthday was Sunday.
Yeah, I think we've established it's all your fault. So no, we were going to do it, Monday? And then it just was like.
Yeah, because I had that day off.
Yeah, but I just couldn't do it.
Well, that's why. So I texted him like, "Hey, do you want to do it, or do you just want to wait till Sunday?" And I threw out, "Do you want to just wait till Sunday?" Because I didn't want to. I was also not in the right headspace. Sure, I think for me.
Yeah, it's funny Monday, doing this. There are moments where it's just like you just don't. Your brain's just not clicking the right way.
Yeah.
It's to throw voices out there.
Yeah, no, it does. You got to kind of be.
In the zone.
In the moment, I don't know.
I found it to be a lot easier to get in the moment now that we've done it so long.
Yeah,
it's like throwing our voices out there and realizing like, no one's listening. It's
it's so much easier.
It's so much easier.
No, it is. It is easier because I was I was just kind of like blah that day.
Yeah.
It was my birthday.
so obviously I was blah.
It was my birthday the day before, and then I took the day off, and then I was just kind of like, Mm-hmm. And I just was not feeling very peppy and like talkative. I was very chill. Like I was in a moment where I just wanted to be alone, I guess.
Right.
But I got kids. I can't do that.
So think of yourself like, I've been using a lot of power tools the last week or so. So I have an analogy for you. You're a beautiful, wonderful Ryobi drill.
Yeah.
Battery powered. Plenty of juice. You can get a lot done. Mm-hmm. But, there's only so much power in that battery, man.
Yeah. I'd rather be like a Milwaukee, but cool.
Okay.
Ryobi,
you're a Milwaukee, whatever. Ryobi, a little more affordable. Ryobi,
it is affordable. I am actually more affordable.
you're the knockoff of Milwaukee. But no,
I'm a cheap prostitute.
No.
But yeah, go.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, eventually that battery runs out of juice, man. You got to plug yourself in, take a break for a minute, recharge that battery.
Yeah, I think, and that's what I kind of needed because the week before I was in Oregon for 5 days really, because it was Sunday to Thursday. I was in Oregon. Mm-hmm. So after our last podcast,
that's right. You hit the road.
Yeah. So a couple hours later, I got on the road, and then I out in Oregon for, doing my little site visits with my techs, and which was really cool. Just to see them and just like being out in the clinics. I don't know. I just feel when I'm doing that, and I feel more in my element. And I think I've told you that, but like, I feel like that's where I thrive, right? Like, I feel like I belong out in the field. Like, I don't belong sitting at home working.
Right.
It just does something to me. So it actually, like, being able to like do the site visits, because the week before I was in Yakima for a couple of days for about 3-4 days.
Have you talked to your boss about that? Like, I mean,
no, he kind of gave me, because I told him, hey, I got to head over to do this. He's like, well, he goes, it's basically limited to what you want to do, kind of.
Awesome.
The limit is.
I wonder though, I'm curious, like, because you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Can you track, you're like, I mean, pay attention to your reviews and stuff and see, like, does your performance increase? Like, are there metrics? You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're feeling better, if you're more in your element, is it going to start rolling into other stuff?
Well, I think it has, with certain things, because I just feel like I need to be more involved with my team in that sense. Sure. And be out in the field. So I'm like, okay, I've been going out to, like, Friday I went to work to go help out. And I know Alicia is usually like, oh, you got to go to work.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you ain't going to be here.
Yeah. Right.
Right. You're going to be at work too. So it was cool because I can go there and I don't have to be there the whole day.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can come back home and do stuff. So it was nice to do that. Cause like I said, it's more my element. And I do feel like that kind of helped the battery issue that you're speaking of, because I felt like I was kind of getting there depleting. You know?
Right.
And then I got that little burst doing those. And then after that fucking Oregon trip, I was just like, I kind of just want to like not do shit right now,
Yeah.
Friday,
and you took days off. You took days off. So what's the point of taking days off if you don't? Recharge.
Alicia has told me, like, because I tend to like still do shit. Day off, I still will go and I'll still do things.
It's hard to just sit around.
Yeah,
I get it.
And so it was Monday. I didn't do shit. Tuesday, I really was like, okay, I ain't gonna do shit. But then it was Halloween. And I was like, oh, JJ's costume's got to finish. So we needed to go get some stuff. So I went to the store that morning to Walmart and just walked around. Fucking, which cool. And then I like drew the mask he was wearing.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like traced that out and
nice.
Let Alicia cut it when she got, because I don't want to cut stuff because I feel like I'll
sure.
Oh, his ears off. I got to redo it all.
Yeah, that would.
But no, tracing and stuff. It was cool. I used a projector.
Nice.
Oh yeah, we watched a movie.
Yeah, we did. Oh yeah, we did. The new FN. What the hell?
FNAF. Friday
That's
night.
right. Friday Night at Freddy's.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
So Brian, my tech, the one that like loves horror movies,
yes,
he told me there's a movie called Willy's Wonderland or some shit like that.
That sounds kind of familiar.
He says it's basically Five Nights at Freddy's, but every
like adults or something. Or
it was so originally the company that did the Willy's was going to do something happened where they were going to do the FNAF thing.
Oh, it fell through, so they made an offshoot.
So they did. They had some with rights, but they ended up. It's basically FNAF.
Yes, but
but characters are different. Right. But he says that movie's way
better.
It's way better. It's like it's more what it should be.
Scary.
Yeah, it's more dark.
Nice. See, well, but I appreciate
this is for kids.
Maybe so that's why they lost the contract. There's so many kids like the FNAF thing.
Yeah,
like I don't want Elliot watching something truly horrific.
Like it really ate that fucking kid.
Yeah, right.
Look at his head just pop up.
Just a kid stand there. As their face is slowly.
You don't see that in movies though, where kids are getting.
You don't, man. I tell you, something about people. They don't want to see kids mutilated. That's No, it's they did a good job.
You're sick if you do.
Yeah, right. They did a good job. If you have kids and like you're okay with some level of violence.
Yeah.
They did it well, where the kids like the kids were all satisfied with it. I thought at the
end they liked it.
They started busting out in songs and dances. I'm like, okay, apparently this is on.
The movie was okay for me. It was all right. I didn't hate the movie.
No,
it wasn't scary. There was a moment I thought you were sleeping.
I was a little tired. I have a hard time making it through a movie anyway.
Yeah, so I know. I looked over and I was like, is he sleeping?
I was a little bit. But
I go, but because there's
And that's not indicative of the movie itself. It's just I was tired.
well,
but
no, there was parts in the movie where it's
a little
just like
slow.
it was a little slow, a little cheesy,
Sure.
Sure.
But it is more for kids, right?
It
Like
is.
I mean, most people watching FNAF stuff online are like Elliot, Elena.
And the one thing I
Their
will
age.
say is what I've read, and I don't know anything about the game other than what the kids tell me. And the kids haven't even played the game. That's what's funny. See, our kids
They watch other people watching other people play the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So
They
there
watch
was a
reaction
character
videos.
that he does that. He's a YouTuber that does that shows up in the movie, and they all recognized him, like Elena and JJ.
Right.
Oh, because he said his infamous like line that he does when he signs off or whatever,
Right.
You know.
Oh yes.
And so he said that, and they were like, "Oh, they loved it, right?"
Yeah.
And then other people who've played the game say it's pretty true to how the game is in a sense.
Sure.
Story wise, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Elliot was saying his take, at
Which I
nine.
take the kids.
I
view
do.
more.
I don't know anything about it. They
Exactly.
could have told me that it was all on the Titanic. I'd have been like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, no, that's like the story of this, and there's this guy, and blah blah blah. And like, man, you're like a lawyer on this stuff. Like, he knows everything.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, JJ and them
It's so nuts how smart kids are. Like, I thought kids were dumb when I was a kid, and then you listen to them talk, and it's like you remember everything that you care about, only the things you care about,
yeah,
but you remember every detail.
but you
of
don't
it.
remember homework.
But you don't remember to clean your room.
I
What the hell? I mean,
Oh my god,
Yeah.
getting kids to clean a room is a pain in the ass.
Dude.
JJ, we always clean your room.
Yeah.
Elliot can't come over unless his room's clean because
Right.
it looks like shit.
and then of course they destroy the. Yeah, right.
The world's over. The world's always over when they have to clean the room. I'm like, bro, just clean your room.
Right.
All right.
Stop whining
Hey,
about
bro.
it and get it done.
No. I want you to get the fuck in there to clean your room.
Yeah, they can clean the room. So, like, if Elena wants Chloe to come over, usually I'm like, "Hey, how's your room look?"
Mhm.
And she's good now, where she knows not to mess her room up,
That's good.
so she won't.
So she doesn't have to clean it.
So it's
Yeah.
minimal cleaning,
God, we need
Like-
to get better at making her clean her room. But
but like and Cheeky will clean her room when she we'll have her
That's good.
clean her, but she'll clean it when she wants to clean it. And,
Mhm.
and when she cleans though, when Cheeky
does she
cleans,
deep clean?
yeah, Cheeky's like she might be like messy, but she's a creative kid, so she's got that, she's
Yeah.
got that personality already. Where creative people, I think, tend to be a little more like messy.
Sure, they can be.
right? But she's also when she cleans, she cleans deep.
Mm.
She'll like go through drawers and organize things, and
Which
you know-
Elena does not.
yeah. She's I'll put things in drawers and close them. So
Yes.
on the outside it looks beautiful, but on
Yeah.
the inside it looks not so beautiful.
You'll never know.
And that's
where
how I
anything
cleaned
is.
when I was younger.
Yeah. Well, I think most kids did.
I was like, okay, if I walked in this room, what do I notice?
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, yeah, I
Shove
could
that
see
in
this.
there.
I'll move this over here. My mom would walk in the room. But if that's my mom, if she checked, she'd probably be too high on something. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Mom. She listens to this show.
That's pretty awesome.
She was like, what? I'm not gullible. It's like, Mom, kind of though. Kind of a little bit. But I
Hey,
love you anyway.
And I just want to give
It
you
was
a
so
shout out
fun.
on your academic goals. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Going back to school, doing your thing. That's pretty cool.
I was like, wait, what? My academic goals? I'm going back
Your
to school.
mom,
My mom, yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's in
going to
school, so
church school or something.
That's
like
pretty
that.
awesome. A lot of people would be like, "I'm not doing anything anymore," and
She's
she's killing it out there.
yeah. I might not agree with the whole thing, but
Sure,
she
Sure.
knows.
I
I
hey,
love her.
I don't
More
personally
power
agree.
to her
Yeah,
and do it.
exactly. But that doesn't mean I'm not happy for you.
Right.
And, yeah. So anyway.
So there was something. So when I was in Oregon, which was cool, going in Oregon, right?
yeah.
One of my texts, by the way, must be very creative. The office is crazy, bit messy. It was so messy.
She's the most creative out of everyone.
And she actually is kind of creative. Actually, she had like these ornaments, I guess that she had made
Oh wow.
out of
Like
paper.
Christmas ornaments?
That kind of what it looks like, but it was for like a birthday or something.
Oh.
But she made it out of like
But she
papers.
made them herself.
I'm like, girl, you working? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you do this? On your free time or on company
Is
time?
that why you didn't respond to my email?
I'm sorry, Jesse. I would have responded, but I was making these stars.
Yeah. It made me think. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, no. I was on my way to a site with one of my other techs that he has another part of the Oregon.
Yeah.
And so I think we were coming from Astoria or somewhere. And there was like this conversion van full of these old people. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the hell? Where are these guys going? And
Where are all these old people coming from?
yeah, I was like, what the hell? And then I just laughed because I was like, I told him, he goes, well, I wonder where they're going. I was like, oh, I go, I think they're going to go pick a plot out. I think that guy's, like, hey, field trip.
Yeah.
Field trip from the fucking, the retirement home.
Funeral home came, and they would like to take you guys
And
on
it just
a
made me
field
think
trip.
that's one hell of a salesman, though.
Right. Picnic in the park, and
Like,
then you show up,
guys,
and it's like,
come on.
oh my God, that would be so amazing. We're going to a picnic in the park. Come on out. And they take them, and then they're
Sales
like,
pitch.
here's like a grape and a cracker, and like, oh, well, these plots are all available. Look at the beautiful grounds.
Your family, can you imagine your family coming here on a
Yeah.
picnic?
Imagine the tears that they would have over your grave right here.
That's what I pictured, though. That's what it seemed like. They were going on like a trip to a cemetery that was down
Right.
the road. So I was like,
Right.
oh, hey, look at
Well,
these
we're
old
telling
people.
them that we're going to the mall, but we're really just going to drive around for an hour and take them back.
I just couldn't
That's
be
sad.
I'd be that salesman, though. No, I couldn't be a salesman.
Man, I don't know if I could live in like a community living situation as an older person. I think I'd be like,
I think if I got old enough, I could live in like that style, like in
sure.
retirement. But if I was like, say, God forbid, Alicia passed away, and I didn't
Right.
want, I got this little apartment that's in this retirement
Yeah, I
community.
guess if it was its own.
so-
Yeah, like I could live in the retirement community type deal. Like you got a
Yeah.
golf course.
yeah, I could do
You
that.
got the card room.
But even a retirement home, I
But,
could
like-
probably. When you get older, dude, they're gonna have like gaming. They're gonna have the shit for
I
us.
guess that's true. Like the Xbox room or whatever the hell.
you know
have.
they will.
We're gonna be all old. Like they'll have the dance night, and it's gonna be wet ass pussy playing. Like how fucked up are we gonna be as old people? Has anyone ever stopped to think about it?
I'm
When you
telling
think
you.
about our cute old grandparents, we're gonna be fucking gross old people.
Yeah, our grandparents listen to doo-wop or whatever, that-
Doo-wop, doo-wop. We're like wet ass pussy. Like how
Yeah,
much
yeah.
worse our kids are gonna be listening to like jazz. Like I don't know, how it's gotta go backwards, right?
It does. I really.
Yeah,
I think we talked about.
so
There's been a swing, I think, in the kids, which
There
I
has.
think I talked about that.
You're
it's
right.
different.
There actually
Yeah.
has. They did a study somehow, somewhere, and they interviewed young people, and they don't like seeing sex in movies and stuff anymore.
Well, yeah,
And they want more stories about like platonic friendships, or those types of relationships, not just lovey romance with sex scenes and the raunchy. Which I kind of agree with.
I agree with
don't
that.
really love the raunchy
That's what
sex
porn's
stuff.
for.
Yeah, that was a question that they asked. Actually,
that's what porn's for. To
is
me.
why how much of that is being impacted by the porn industry. But it's like there's some things that are just left alone. You know what I mean?
The porn industry's. I don't think there's been no change in that. I feel like that's been the way it's been
Forever.
right?
Yeah, this is not on VHS anymore.
Porn's been around since the dawn of the internet.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Well,
Since-
before then,
You know
you
what I
used
mean?
to have 8mm. Remember
Well,
that
yeah.
movie they made?
Yeah,
8
we've talked
millimeter?
about that. That
Was
that
rough.
movie made me feel. That made me go to church. Want to go to church?
James Gandolfini was an amazing.
Yeah, that
character.
movie made me want to go to church. Like
Yeah.
I felt dirty.
Yeah.
I felt so. Me and my buddy at the time, Mike, me and him saw that in theater, and it was just
Man, I didn't see it in theater, but
it was it's a weird one to see in theater. But no, I think there has been an upturn in the way that kids think and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm with them though. The raunchiness, I
am
can't.
too.
I've never really cared for that. Like,
Well, I just think it's gotten so extreme.
yeah.
Again, I mean, and I'm not trying to knock her in particular, but a song that's literally called Wet Ass Pussy, that's about
yeah.
just what it is said to be. I'm just like, there's a point where it's like, I don't want to be a prude, but just why? Like,
Yeah.
where are we going? Are we just
I was-
pushing that envelope, or like? And I don't want people like ashamed of their sexuality or whatever, but
I was just talking to Alicia about this like music, and I think I brought up that song, but I was laughing because we were listening to. So we got was it Sirius
oh, yeah,
Radio?
okay.
So we have that because we got our oil changed, and so we got 3 months free.
Oh.
Right. So we're like, nah, fuck it. We might as well use it. So she's been listening to 90s.
Uh-huh.
It's anything 90s pretty much.
Sure.
And then you'll hear some of the songs and you're like, God, what the hell? You know, they were singing some pretty nasty stuff. Then I started thinking, I was like, you know, it's funny, you know, we give Wet Ass Pussy like a lot of shit, but I go, man, I was listening to Too Short and he was talking about fucking this and I fucked this bitch named this and it was pretty vulgar then, and I was like, I thought this song was so good.
Well, I mean, it's true.
As a 15, 16-year-old, I'm like, oh,
right.
Yeah, man, I remember. I'm fucking whacking off and shit. It's not like
This guy's voice.
I can't. It's not like I got this guy's voice.
He's singing to you.
Yeah, you fucked Roxanne because you knew you can.
Oh man.
No, but like I had no experience of what any of that meant, but I thought it was just a cool song.
Well, and like
but
you can definitely like a song and sing the lyrics and not connect to the meaning of the lyrics. You know,
so many songs I've heard that I've like done that. Like we just heard this. It was either a Jessica Simpson song or it was one of those songs. But when you listen to it, it's like dirty.
But it used to be more innuendo.
Yeah, this was, you know, but as a kid,
innuendo I'm okay with.
You don't figure out because you're younger.
Like innuendo is kind of playful. There's double meanings. Like
she was talking about being on her knees.
Kid was praying to Jesus, maybe.
And his grace just squirted in my face. Like, oh,
all right.
Yeah, I can see that. He got mad, flipped the table, and
she's on
grace went everywhere.
Wow. Yeah, no, I don't remember her music, to be honest.
I don't know if it was Jessica, but there was a song.
You heard it here first, folks. Jessica Simpson sings
I'll ask Alicia the name of that song.
Wow.
Because I don't know who it is.
On my knees, is that?
There you go.
It sounds like it was on my knees.
But I was gonna say. So speaking of salesmen, the other day I get a call from the police international, like donate to the police foundation, whatever.
Sure.
It's like fraud. They, by the way, if you do donate, they don't stop calling you.
I've just heard that not to donate. The money doesn't necessarily go where you think it's going. So, I don't know for a fact. I mean, don't take my word for it. But
so the very first thing, I'm like, hello. And then he's like, oh, hey. What did he say? He goes, oh, you're the first persons I've reached, and I'm pretty tall. And I was like, hang up.
Dang it. I asked him before the show started, do you think it was an AI bot?
It could be, because that was so cheesy. It was like, oh, you're the first person I've reached, and I'm pretty tall. And he kind of like gives you that, like, it pauses, and I was like, what? And then
the computer's calculating, what do I say?
And then he goes,
next?
Yeah, I'm from the police. And then I hung up.
Yeah.
I was like, the line's a little too corny for me.
He gave you time to laugh. If it was a person, he was waiting for the laugh.
I was just like, I was more in shock because I've never heard that line before.
You're the first person I've reached, and I'm pretty tall. Maybe I'm too tall. I can't reach down to get you.
Yeah, but the reason for the call, Jim. You mind if I call you Jim?
Let me tell you, Jeremy. Your name just keeps changing throughout the call.
Well, Jerry, it's been great talking to you. But yeah, well, my name's Carlos, and you fucked it up.
Jill, you've been a pleasure.
I had someone do that when I worked at Charter College. They were like I was always the computer guy around campus.
Sure.
And a lot of students would know who I was. It's Jesse or whatever.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, oh, hey, Carlos, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, you're close.
Do you want to guess my last name?
I go, you're close, but it's Jesse.
I want to
And they looked at me and they're like, oh, that's not close. I'm like,
close.
Yeah, it's not close.
Not close at all.
One of the employees at the time, her name was Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
She heard me. She was there when it happened.
Yeah.
She laughed. She fucking was dying when she left. And then she ends up printing a name tag out for me. Carlos Barber.
Seriously, you should ask you, what do you think my last name is?
Barbosa.
I want to say Martinez or Gonzalez.
Well, no, I told that story before where the cop thought I was, like, he saw my last name. He was like, oh, I thought your last name would have been like Gonzalez or Rodriguez or something like that.
So get this story.
Yeah.
This is like 10 years ago.
Longer.
Right? 15 years ago?
Let's say, Yeah,
So,
about
12
years ago, just before I met Alicia.
So this guy's renting a room at a house, and the people he's renting it from, their daughter, right, lives there.
Yep.
And she's 18.
She was like 19,
So
20.
get this, legal people out there. He's renting a room
Yep.
from a landlord whose daughter's also renting another room.
Yeah. So it's the mom owns the house.
Yes. So the underage kids are all drinking somewhere in the house. And
Yeah, they're drinking in
he's
the garage.
in his room
Yep.
playing video games. Not a part of it. Not supplying, nothing. He's in his room.
Yeah.
Knock at the door, right?
Yeah. So
no
what
one's
happened?
answering the door.
Yeah. So the week prior was the one I was at the week prior or a couple weeks before that, it was like the cops came to the house, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Right. And then that was a whole thing. Right.
Uh-huh.
And then that incident, the one you're talking about, yeah, they were drinking, but they were in the garage, and I had just got home at this point,
Uh-huh.
and the roommate goes, "Hey, there's this lady, the neighbor. She was like, she's in our garage, and she won't like leave. Can you get her to leave?" And I had just got back from, I think, the club or something. I was with Orlando and Gabriel, and so I'm like, "Oh, sure, yeah, whatever, you know." Being a nice person. And so, yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll go. And I go in there, and she's pretty fucked up.
Uh-huh.
She's drunk.
And this is one of the kids from...
This lady's just the neighbor that's in there.
Oh,
and
geez.
there's a group of kids, and they're drinking. You know, they're being kids. They're 20,
But there's
21.
this older lady that's just trashed.
Yeah,
in there.
she's probably like my age at that time, 30.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
Trash with
she's
these
just,
kids.
yeah, she's just like, hey, ooh, she's talking. And I'm like, yeah, let's just get going. And, you know, I'm trying to leave. And then all of a sudden you hear this knock at the garage door.
Yeah.
And it's a cop. And then the person opens the door and slams it right away.
Mm-hmm. That's a smart move.
And then I was like, what are you fucking...
Did the
like,
cops
no.
kick the door in? Because
No.
usually they'll just kick the door in if
No,
you do
because
that.
they can't, you know, like...
They can. If you slam the door at them, they sure can.
If you're white, they won't, is what I should say.
She's a white kid.
So it was a
I
white
see.
kid.
Well,
Uh,
that does change the legal
so
dynamic.
let's change all this. It's all white kids, right? I'm the brown person.
Gotcha.
Anyway, the lady I'm trying to get out of the house is white.
Uh-huh.
So she
did not end up going to jail?
no. So she's intoxicated. You can tell.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not gonna lie. I was buzzed, and it wasn't because I was drinking with these kids.
No, you were
And I need to let that know because I was a little buzzed, but I just got back from the club. I wasn't even messy, Jesse.
And
Ben.
the neighbor confirmed that you got home and she asked your help.
Yeah. The roommate asked my help to get the neighbor out of the garage
Oh, I see.
because she lived right next door. So she came.
So the
right-
neighbor lady was drunk.
was drunk, being stupid in the garage.
I see.
You know, and so I'm
So
trying to get her
apparently
out.
I don't know this story that I brought
Yeah.
up. But anyway.
But yeah, so I'm trying to get this lady out. Like, hey, like,
Let's leave these kids alone.
You know, I'm talking to her. You know how when drunk people, you just talk.
Yeah.
I'm
right.
like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'm trying to get her. And then the cop came because
Mhm.
there was a noise disturbance, and it was
Right.
because the thing was, it was their house. Like the kids were listening to music. They were in a garage, and it wasn't like crazy loud, right?
Uh-huh.
And there wasn't like neighbors next to us that would be like, oh God, it's so fucking loud, you know?
Yeah.
And so the neighbors next, the drunk lady, her and her man were like fighting or something. That's why she was over.
Uh-huh.
They were playing music fucking loud, right? Like you can hear it from the street loud. Well, the cop comes over to the garage because that house, mind you, a couple weeks ago was already cops there. Before I even moved in, the cops had come there a few times.
So they just assume
it's got a history. Yeah. And I'm not a drama guy, so I don't like that shit. And so anyway, they slammed the door on the cop, and the cop's like, I'm like, what are you guys fucking doing? I opened the door because I'm like, well, I'm just trying to get this lady out, you know, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Let me talk to the cop.
Yeah.
Let me be right. As soon as I open the door, he fucking slams me against the door, handcuffs me. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, I don't want to hear it. You know, like he's already pissed because someone
slammed the door.
When I think about it, someone slammed the door. So, take it on the brown guy. And
when I think about it.
But he let the lady go, right?
Yeah.
The neighbor, he let her go.
The one that drank with the kids.
I don't know if she drank with him. She was just drunk.
I mean, let's put two and two together. She's shit-faced drunk around all these drinking 18-year-olds.
And so they have me cuffed, throw me on the ground. all of a sudden all the kid lets the lady go, lets them go, right? Lets the neighbor lady lets her go, even though it was her house that was the issue, right?
Okay, that makes that
Right.
does
So
not make any
now
sense.
the cops, they're invested, right? Because there's this garage full of kids. They're like 20, 21-year-olds. You know, they're not little like fucking 15-year-olds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
All of a sudden, everyone's asleep. They're knocking on the door, and I'm like sitting there handcuffed next to it, and then I start fucking hitting it, pow, pow. Like, get the fuck up! Like, they know you're not fucking sleeping. You know, like,
Yeah.
open the goddamn door. I'm like pissed at this moment.
Right.
Like, I don't give
You're
a fuck.
sitting in handcuffs.
Like, I'm didn't do shit. You know, I'm trying to help out, and now I'm in trouble,
Right.
for something I didn't do. Anyway, I don't know, 40 minutes go by, kids start coming out, and they're just making the kids empty all the beers. Everyone's getting to go home. I'm still cuffed,
Mhm.
right? The cop, gets my ID, and I'm over by the cop car. I think at this point I get the cuffs off.
Mhm.
But I'm getting written up. I'm getting a ticket for providing to minors is what I'm getting charged with, right? Providing alcohol to minors, which I didn't do,
Right.
right? And the fucking cop goes, he sees my name, and I don't know if, it was Barber, I think then. He looks at it and he's like, "Oh, I thought your last name would have been like Rodriguez or Gomez or something like that." Some Mexican name, because he saw how I looked.
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, I get that, like a lot. Not thinking more thinking like that was kind of racist.
A little not cool.
A little racist.
So you're the only
Richland
one
cop.
getting written up,
I was the only one who got, so I got,
and he makes a joke about your name,
yep.
and lets the white lady go,
Let's everyone go.
who's trashed,
Everyone.
and the underage drinkers go without a citation.
Yeah, everyone.
And you get a citation and get to spend a day in jail.
Yeah, so I didn't go to jail for that one. I went to jail the previous one for the
Oh,
possession of that. That's a whole other story I won't even get into.
that's right.
It was an empty pipe. I told them where it was. They weren't even there for me. They were for that other roommate, and I was being.
How funny is it now?
I was like, I just moved here a week ago, bro. I was like, but I got an empty piece right here. And then he's like, wrote me up for possession of paraphernalia and weed, even though it was empty.
Yeah, because it had the
I-
residue.
And at that time, it was illegal, so I got
Right.
a mandatory day in a jail. So I got to spend 1 day in jail. I just told one of my texts this story just the other day.
Yeah.
We were talking about jail or something. I just brought that up. They're like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah, this guy's an old jailbird.
yeah, I'm a bad boy. My wife married a bad boy."
He got
no,
the teardrop tattoo.
They
removed,
dropped
so-
that charge though from providing minors, because I was like, I rent this fucking room. I didn't provide shit to these
Yeah,
minors.
so you went to court on that one and you argued it.
Yeah, well, I had at this
You had to
for this
appear.
one. I had a
Right.
what do they call him? A court-appointed attorney.
Yeah.
Public defender.
Right.
Had a PD, and I mean, he was a piece of shit anyway. He didn't know anything.
Is this where he told you the
He was just take the no.
no contest?
Yeah,
Whatever.
like I had to pay a $500 fee for noise disturbance. I still had to pay a fine that I had
You had to pay.
nothing. Yeah, I still had to pay a fine, like $500-$600, something like that.
I would have.
I was so pissed.
I know. On principle, I would have been like, I'll risk jail.
I'll roll the dice on another day in jail.
Well, if I would have known
Yeah.
better, even that first one, I would have gotten a lawyer,
Yeah.
because all that would have went. I
Right.
wouldn't have got shit for it because I didn't do anything wrong at that time.
Right. Right.
I was being, again, a nice guy.
and like,
They're like, "Jesse, the cop's at the door. Can you come? Someone's at the door. Can you come here?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's when I was playing video games with
Right.
my friend. We were
I
playing
see.
Borderlands.
I see.
And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" I just got done seeing Elena. It's 10:30 at night. I'm chilling. Cop, you smoking? Your eyes are red. I'm like,
no, I'm really tired, bro.
no.
It's 10:30
But it
at night.
smells
You
like
just
weed
woke
in the
up?
house because they smoked weed.
Sure.
Which, like, I smoked weed, but I never smoked in the house.
Not with the kids. Yeah.
Not with them either.
Right.
Like, I had literally been there maybe a week. So
Mhm.
if I smoked, everything was in my car. I did it the right way.
Yeah.
Smoked in my car.
I smoked in my car.
Well, I don't like when my own house smells.
Yeah.
I don't like,
Right.
I'm
Right.
That's
It's
what
a very
outside's for.
potent smell.
It
Like, you
is.
can tell where people smell.
I don't want people to come to my house and smell that. I don't
Sure.
want to do that to people. I don't want my house to smell like that. That's what I've always been an outside smoker. And,
Alicia strikes me as one that wouldn't like her house smelling
oh,
like that.
she would be so pissed if I smoked in the house. Sometimes we'll smell skunk and you would think,
Oh no.
is that your stuff? I'm like, no, my stuff's outside somewhere.
Yeah.
If I remember where I put it.
As long as the dog doesn't get it.
Yeah. Fucking dogs. I have a dog that ate some of my stuff. I ate like a little piece and she was feeling good that day.
She was like, relaxed.
She was really
happy.
relaxed. I was
She
like,
just laid back in your arm. kind of gave like the Cheech and Chong look.
she had this new dog I ate. Yeah.
She was good. I mean,
I was like, but where it was, like I hide like underneath, like I have like a barbecue that I hide it underneath, and like it's out of the way, so you don't see it. No one sees it. You wouldn't even think a dog would go underneath there, but somehow they're small dogs, so they went up there and grabbed it.
you know, you think about our
like,
culture.
oh
Isn't
my
it
God.
funny how different it is today than it was like 20 years ago? I remember a really good friend of mine, after high school, he started smoking weed.
Mhm.
And I never really got into it. I never really liked it all that much.
Yeah,
but like for him, it was, like
That
a
was his
big
thing.
part of his life, right? And I remember like every time we'd hang out, and one time like he went and got some and he had it. We've laughed about it, but like he gets into this sock that was thrown in the trunk of his car behind some other stuff.
Oh yeah,
And like he laughs. He's like, they probably still find it, but so he gets it out and he does his thing, and no big deal. But it's like now that it's not illegal, and like culturally, obviously, most people now view it like, why are we still?
Yeah.
Like, I get harder drugs. I'm not
No, I
sure
get
that
it.
I'm for harder drugs, but like for marijuana,
you shouldn't.
to
I
get
don't
the
think,
criminals out of that. If we already regulate alcohol and
Yep.
tobacco,
which
and-
has caused way more deaths
right,
than
then
marijuana.
just regulate marijuana, which has not destroyed lives. I'm not saying it's great for people, but it's no more harmful than these other things that we already accept.
Yeah, it's.
Criminalizing it obviously doesn't work.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's actually less harmful than like alcohol.
Sure. I've never seen somebody
You know what I mean?
destroy their family over marijuana, where
No.
alcohol has certainly destroyed families.
Yeah. No, they're gonna destroy their
I've
their
never
family's
seen
fridge.
a marijuana high guy walking down the street throwing rocks through windows and
Are
causing
screaming and yelling.
I've seen marijuana take somebody who's throwing rocks and make him lay down and eat chips. I've seen that.
But like drinking, smoking, I had cigarettes here and there. I wish I really don't care for cigarettes.
Mhm.
But like drinking and smoking, the difference, like even the way I feel is
Yeah.
different. I can function a lot better. Like I can function a lot better than if I was to drink.
I gotcha.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
compared to drinking.
Yeah. I still mumble when I talk, drunk, sober, not. So that's no different.
Speech
I
doesn't
sound
change.
drunk already. So when I talk,
Man. Man.
but no, it's funny because one thing stoners do too is they'll have like their stuff.
Uh-huh.
At least back in the day, you'd have your like baggie or something. You'd put it somewhere and you'd forget
Oh.
like what it is, or you put your lighter somewhere, and then randomly months later you'll find oh, there it is.
It's like Christmas presents.
There was this one day I was at home, and we're talking years.
Uh-huh.
At least 2 years had gone by.
Yeah.
But I went, my buddy Efren, he had his bachelor party, and we went to a strip club. But before that, we went paintballing.
Uh-huh.
And so I had this, like, they call a hopper, like this container that had like the balls in it. And so it's about this big. It actually looks like a container that would hold a dildo. This is what it looks like.
All right.
Anybody who's paintballed knows what I'm talking about. That's what it looks like. It's
Uh-huh.
it's very phallic shaped. It looks like it holds a big ass dildo.
Okay.
Well, I had done that sock thing. So I put a sock with my weed in there, and I put it in that, and I covered that because I didn't want it to smell. But then I had it in the house.
Uh-huh.
And so if I ever had it in the house like that I would
Put it in something non-smelly.
Yeah. So I put it in my bathroom under the sink in the back. I had forgot about it because I think at this time I probably hadn't smoked. I stopped smoking or whatever. And then I opened, and one day I was like taking a shit, whatever, and I'm like, I seen it open, and I was like, I forgot about that little hopper thing. You know, and at this moment, I'm like, I don't think anything's in it. But I was like, I can kind of see through because it's red, so I can kind of see like something like a bag, like a grocery bag.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what the fuck's in there? You know, I'm still like, whatever. And so like, I kind of like squat over, grab it, pop it open, and then I like, what the fuck? And I open, and there's fucking a thing of weed, like some marijuana in there, in the baggie still. I was like, God damn, I wonder would I put this here? It's had been years.
I was really hoping that the story would have gone like this. Then we went paintballing, and I started shooting pop, 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 pop. just a powder of marijuana.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Like it got the gun was like,
that'd be so funny.
It's like that. That's how those triggers are. Paintballing's fucking fun.
I'll bet. I've never been.
I went that one time only, and it was that Red Dot Paintball here in the local. It was pretty sick,
dude. That's cool.
Like you feel like, you know, in the game when you're like running and shooting at people.
Oh yeah.
There's moments where you're like, I did that.
It was like real war. I'll bet.
There was a moment where I like ran to go like flank someone around the side.
Yeah.
And I ran as he's shooting someone and to go this way. And it was cool. And I turned.
Man,
I felt so cool. I felt like a Navy SEAL or something.
Yeah.
You know?
God, those guys are nuts.
I should have done that.
Can you imagine going up against like actual SEALs or like the elite teams?
No.
I mean, they're like ghosts. Like, I know that there's a whole game industry called Ghost, but
well, no, but
they truly are. I mean, like they can just come in super quiet. They know all these maneuvers and like.
Well, it's like a team. Like, well, it's a team, and they have their playbook, and they very strategic on how they're if they're throwing this way, we're gonna bow. And I think there's like paintball teams out there that are probably just as good.
Probably.
There's this guy I've seen that. You ever see that airsoft?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like BBs.
Yeah.
There's a guy that posts videos of him doing snipe shots, and he's dressed up like with the whole goalie suit or whatever. It's called the ghillie suit. And so he blends in,
right? And
you'll just see him. And you'll see his view of like the crosshairs. He's like that. And he's like, and you'll just see this, and then it'll hit the guy right in the forehead. Pow. And then he's like, he raises his hand like I got hit. And he's looking around like, where did this come from? Then someone else popped around the corner. He's like,
He'd be so quiet too.
Yeah, but he's like in the trees and shit. So it's and it's a long shot. It's like this guy must be. Either he's just really dedicated to airsoft, or he was like in the military,
something. And this is like his way of dealing with like the real world.
Yeah.
Oh, just shoot people with a toy.
Yeah. I missed the killing.
No, I would imagine though, like if you were deep in the military, and because like I understand those, you know, I think we all have those moments in our life where there's some sort of camaraderie, and you miss it when you're gone. And you think of like the trauma of being in a war, like especially those guys that were like in Iraq, stuff like that, where there was real war stuff happening. I could see where it would be really hard to come back to some sort of normal life where suddenly like you're not worried about dying every minute. And
well, you don't have military, it's very structured in the fact that this is
right. And you have an identity.
You know where you're going.
Right. You have, your rank, your group, there's a whole structure of societal norms in that setting. Right.
I think of the movie 13 Hours. I love that movie. The Benghazi one.
Yeah.
But these guys are like they're military, but they're kind of ex-military because, one of the guys, he's living back home, but you can tell it's like just weird for him because he doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And so he gets a call like, hey, need some help here. And, right as soon as he gets there, he's like in his element.
Yeah.
Like he feels like
at home.
That's how he thrives. And he does his best that way.
Right.
And that's kind of like how I felt with doing what I'm doing is that same sense where it's like
being back out on the field.
Being on the field. Yeah. May not be Army, but
yeah, sure.
But it's like you have that sense of purpose, whereas like you come back, you feel like you have no sense of purpose. Is how I would think.
Your identity.
Like I know I've never been to war.
Well, it's like the Japanese concept of Ronin, the warriors without a leader, without someone to serve, because like the samurai culture was all about servitude. They practiced, all the time. They were all about practicing their arts of weaponry and their skills. Their entire family culture
What's that?
They raised their kids into it.
So were a lot
And-
of them like blacksmiths too that would like create swords? Any of that?
I don't.
Or they would
I don't.
just like
I mean, I'm sure that there were some specialists that created them. Generally, it was practice. I mean,
Okay.
it was like you woke up in the morning and you went through your day of practicing the different arts. You practiced like sword fighting. You practiced like fighting with other weapons. You practiced all the concepts of war, right? And they served their feudal lord of the area of their zone. And I think it was called daimyo was the name of the local lord. And I could be screwing that up because the shogun at the time was like the top of the country, right? And then you had these local leaders that were called a daimyo. And so they would serve that daimyo, bring their entire family through. So their kids were like trained up and ready to go. And then the shogun got overthrown
yeah.
and the daimyo ceased to exist.
That's crazy.
So then you had this moment where an entire culture of this entire group of people completely lost their entire identity.
And now they don't know what to do.
And they have no one to serve, and their entire life is based on serving through war for their leader. That's their entire purpose of existence.
Yeah.
They didn't have it. So the concept of the Ronin is kind of that. Like now you have to figure out, well, what do you do? So they, became all these different
like you
kind of like
and
yeah. I mean, they became like trained. They were assassins, or they were whatever they could make money at. But then, so you look at the Yakuza and they still do the full body tattoos and that kind of stuff because there is a tradition from the samurai directly down into that. So
I still think, which I think would be still so dope to have like that kind of tradition.
Sure.
That kind of like, this was, you grew up. Can you imagine growing up like in a Ronin? Like,
no.
Sword fighting all the time?
Like to actually.
What if you wanted to do something else with your life?
To be more willing to stab yourself in the stomach than to die without honor. I mean, that's pretty intense. I
feel like killing yourself is without honor.
But
it's dishonored.
To their culture, though,
it's not.
I mean, because you got to think, like, not only do you have to stab yourself in the stomach, you have to do it in a certain way that's like excruciating because you have to move the sword through your entire gut system, and you have to do it completely silently. If you make a noise, you've screwed it up, and you're not.
Sorry, you pussy.
Yeah, he was a nerd.
Knew he'd cry.
It's just nuts. Japanese history is so.
It's kind of cool,
fascinating.
I do find I've always said this, but I found like nothing wrong with my culture, American culture. Right. Nothing wrong with it, but it's not as cool sometimes as like Japanese.
Well, like Chinese history is 5,000 years old.
Exactly.
We're what country? How many years? 5,000 years. We're on like 300 for America. I mean, like if you go back to like the first people that came like from Europe, we're 5. Maybe a little more. Yeah. I don't remember the exact number.
But still, it's not thousands.
But it's not thousands of years. China as a country, it's changed a lot. I mean, borders have changed and things. But generally, like as a culture, as an identity of China, 5,000 years of history.
Well, you think about the Shogun thing. That's probably very old.
That was like this. Yeah, I think 1600s, I think, is when it came to an end, and it existed before then.
And they're still practicing, like certain things from that.
Right.
Like the
tattoos,
they still
have an emperor. Japan still has an emperor.
Why did we go away? We need to have lords.
I want to be a lord.
It's Lord Biden.
Yes. Yes, Lord Biden and Mrs. Biden. I want a party where people just yell people's names. Jesse Barber. When someone walks in the door.
They scare the shit out of me.
Let's just do that. Let's just hire someone to yell everybody's name when they come to the house.
You should have your students do that.
I should. Yes. Mr. Parham is entering.
That'd be great.
His Honorable, I want to be like a judge. His Honorable Parham is entering the room.
God, that'd be awesome.
I make the kids stand when I walk in. So, no, I don't.
Salute me.
Yeah, I don't make them stand for me.
I would.
But
yeah, no. So, the last couple weeks, it's been just
busy.
It's
really
been busy. Like, you've been way more busy with the floors.
Let me tell you. So weirdest thing. So last Saturday we were painting. We were finishing up the painting, right? and where Blanca had some movies on, teacher movies. Never really seen a lot of teacher movies. There was a Ryan Reynolds teacher movie that I'd never seen before. I didn't even know it existed. Don't know what it was. I only saw part of it.
I think you would.
I think I told you
mentioned it a little bit.
And then there was a movie that came on with Matthew Perry as a teacher. And then the news about Matthew Perry came out. And
yeah, that came out.
I asked Blanca, and like, were we watching that movie before that happened or like after that happened? Because like, how weird is that? I think it was Saturday that we saw the movie. Neither one of us really reacted to it like it was like, oh, Matthew Perry. And that was like probably at the time. It was probably
like the news came out. Yeah.
And that was sad. I've always been a big Matthew Perry fan.
Yeah. I wonder if it was just complications from like just drug use from the day, like kind of, like
I know
that's what worries about me. Like
I'm hoping it wasn't a relapse, but there's been a lot of comments. Like I guess in his book, he wrote an autobiography, and he mentioned somewhere in there that, and I don't know this myself. Blanca saw some video where somebody was like bringing it up. He commented, "If I ever bring up Batman, I need help," and people had looked, and his last few posts had been about Batman. Like I think he like took a picture of like a Batman poster or something and some comments about Batman. So
I wonder if anybody reached out or if no one read his book.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing that's so sad. It's like, I don't want to say that he was relapsing on drugs because that's not really fair to him, and I have a ton of respect for him, but someone that's dealt with, I haven't personally dealt with drug addiction, but I can empathize with how hard it would be to stay clean.
Well, especially if like certain things happen in your life where it's like maybe something traumatic triggers it, or
especially with the
something stressful
today. I mean, if he had been clean for a long time and then relapsed on,
how long had he been clean?
I think he'd been clean for quite a while.
Because I know he was on drugs during Friends.
All through Friends, yeah.
And then I thought after that he sometime during that show. No, I think during the show he got clean and he would relapse here and there.
Maybe, but he won't. From what he said, or from what I've heard, he said he wouldn't watch the show because he could tell whether it was like alcohol or cocaine or whatever he was doing. He could tell by the way he looked what he was doing at the time.
I would hate. Yeah, I get that.
How hard would that be?
Well, I hate so when we do our podcast, right?
Yeah.
When we drank anyway, like I would hate hearing myself. Sometimes when I knew I was like pretty drunk,
you'd hear that point where
I just sounded like an idiot, obviously, and it wasn't always bad. Obviously, there were some great moments and funny moments, obviously, when you drink, but you would hear it and it just gives you this like, ugh. Like I hate hearing myself.
I started thinking like we should offer this as like therapy for people, because there is something to putting your voice out there and just like some level of self-reflection that goes into it, and sharing, like give that breaking free to speak.
Yeah.
That I think could be helpful to a lot of people.
I think so. I think it's good to just let it out every now and then.
It's like truly like a therapy session.
It really, for me, this is kind of, like I've always said, it's like therapeutic to get stuff out, talking. A lot of times we might share stories you've heard before or whatever, and we're just talking shit.
So one thing that this clicked in my brain, Blanca and I just started watching Sister Wives.
Oh yeah, we watched that.
I never really watched it. I'd seen a few episodes. I went. We just decided let's skip all the early stuff and go right to where we find out that things are kind of falling apart.
Yeah, the last season.
But man, I got to tell you, from our situation, it's like, we're non-conventional in the sense that you and I are friends and shouldn't be in a traditional, world, I guess. But that is like a very extreme circumstance.
I couldn't imagine having 4 or 5 wives.
I couldn't either. And it's so funny because any woman I talk to totally sees the female perspective, which I do too. I get how hard it would be to be essentially a single parent most of the week. But then I'm like, from the
Wednesdays
guy's
are my
side,
day.
I'm like, this guy is going house to house to house with women that are probably angry with him everywhere he goes.
Oh, 100%.
And there's no time to decompress at all. Like, I feel for the guy. And like, I listen to him talk and I'm like, I get it. Sometimes he says some like jackass things, but like, so do I. I think most husbands do. But it's so funny to hear them like talk and complain about a situation. Like, you can see in relationships how both sides are right.
Yeah.
You know, it's your perspective from where you're coming from.
Which is crazy because, like, so we can see it, right? The
Yeah.
wives can sometimes see it. They
Yeah.
might not see the guy's side. No, just
They see the girl
But-
side usually, but
like, it's weird because in those situations, they don't see that, right?
yeah, right.
Like, they can't
The people
see.
involved
Yeah.
can't see, right?
They can't see where he's coming from in a sense where it's
Right.
like, dude, I'm trying. Like, this is
Right.
fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And, you know, he also doesn't see that they're like, dude, this sucks. I kind of
Right.
want some time with you.
Right.
It's like, nah, daddy, you know, Mondays, you know, it's only Monday. Tuesday's the other girl. Wednesday's that girl.
Right.
Thursday's this girl.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
I could not do it.
I would, no.
Well, it's funny too because we just got to a point where he starts saying, like, I don't know if I believe in this lifestyle anymore. I'm like, well, yeah, it's got to be
There's a point where it's,
excruciatingly difficult.
I can see, so 2 wives,
Mhm.
right? Maybe would be manageable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after that, that's like way
Well,
too
it could
many.
be helpful,
And then
right?
all the kids, can you imagine? Like, that's also
Oh my lord, I know.
like, what kind of a, effect does that have on the kids? Like, I know some of them probably go live that lifestyle, which is
Right.
fine, whatever. Nothing wrong with it. But like, I don't know what that would do with you as a kid. Like, my dad was there, but he wasn't.
Right.
Like, my dad, like, I can get things, but he wasn't there emotionally, or
Right.
he wasn't there.
Well,
like,
you
this
see
way.
these moments where like he's making choices where it's hard and he has to kind of choose one kid over the other or whatever.
which
And it's
he was like disowning kids and shit, it seemed like at one point.
maybe we're just kind of
Oh,
getting
yeah,
to that
but
point
like, there's-
where maybe
It's like one of
I
his
don't
first
know,
wives.
but, like, I don't want to. Honestly, I started watching the show to be like, oh, look at these weirdos. Like, man. But then you start kind of liking these people. Like, I actually like these people. They seem like decent people.
They do.
And, you know, I'm all for. I think I have an issue with our government saying what. You know, I have an issue with us outlawing gay marriage, outlawing plural marriage, as long as people are behaving in a way that's.
What's wrong with being happy? You
Well,
know what I mean?
right. I mean, I don't see why we should morally legislate.
No,
You
that
know,
should be up
let
to you.
People make their choice
Yeah.
for their life as long as it's not impacting other people. And then if you don't choose that, that's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like if you want a traditional marriage, you get that because and that's how I am. I don't want to be in a gay marriage or a plural marriage. I have no interest, but
No.
that doesn't mean that I should tell somebody else you can't have that.
Yeah,
I understand that churches shouldn't be forced to give gay marriage and that churches shouldn't be forced to give plural
because
marriage.
it's their belief.
Because it's
or whatever.
their belief system. I would never want that imposed on people that don't believe it. But I have a real issue with the way that we base our law in biblical stuff because that's always the way it's been.
Yeah,
I fully admit that the Bible has obviously had an impact on our law, but to have a truly free society, we can't be dictated by a religious doctrine. And if the only argument you have in law is the Bible,
it's not.
then it's not
even illegal.
It's not adequate, I don't think, for me personally. And for a lot of people disagree because they believe that the word of God is more important than the word of man, and I get that, but that's not what everyone believes. And
No.
we live in a system of government.
I don't know. I don't see how, like, gay marriage and how does that hurt?
How does that
anyone?
hurt you? Right.
You know, I don't care.
Right.
I could care less if 2 guys, 2 girls
Yeah.
get married.
If you don't believe it
If
and you
they're
don't want to go
happy-
to their wedding, don't go. I mean, that's fine. You
If-
have a right to
if
your
they're happy,
belief.
they're happy. What if people don't like straight
Right.
marriages? Well, that's weird to them.
Well,
You know
that's
what
the thing I always think is like,
You know?
obviously the line's drawn when people are truly getting hurt, you
Yeah.
know, like, but barring weird stuff, when it comes down to it, what if the other side got complete control and told you that you couldn't live your life?
Now, I'm American. You
I
can't
just
tell me
think
what to do.
If we stopped and put ourselves in the shoes of other people a little more, we might make rules that made more sense for everybody.
Yeah.
Because it would really suck if this country went completely anti-Christian, if it was all Satanists that ran the country and they said, you know, Jesus is no more. And if you even bring up his name, you get sent to jail. And because we've done that on the other side.
Yeah, I know.
Like we have outlawed, it used to be you go to jail if you were gay and had like gay sex because it was a crime.
Well, it's still a
like-
crime in some other countries, though, too. That's
It
what's
is.
sad.
And it's just like, why? What's the point? You care that we're all about freedom in this country, unless I don't like what you do. We're not about everybody's freedom. We're about my freedom.
Yeah. What's good for me?
And that pisses me off usually. I just like, dude, get over it. I don't know. Like, again, you don't have to like it. But
no, well, to handle, for you to be able to handle multiple wives, that's, you deserve to get married to multiple wives.
Like, that guy's a freaking saint.
Like, I would lose my shit. Like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, I think at most, if I had to, it would be 2, right? Not if I had to. If there was that situation,
if you were a plural husband or whatever,
like I could have 2. That's it.
Yeah, me too. I know
2 wives. That's it. But like anything past that is crazy because even just 2 would. I feel like emotionally, I'm not like emotionally like ready for.
Well, here's one thing I know
it feels like
that would
sometimes.
make it tough.
Yeah,
it's like, and this is probably not all people, so I'm going to say something that sounds insensitive, but it's kind of my truth from my experience. So do with it what you will. Men can have issues with each other, but they usually, as long as you don't have like a guy that's like just insane or whatever, they are going to kind of work it out.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Women tend to kind of go back forth with being close and then not being close and then being close and then not being close. Like, I could see if they really were good at communicating and working things out. She always has a friend and, you could kind of get some time while they're off shopping or doing whatever. But like, yeah, his scenario where he's bouncing like one family to the next, to the next, to the next. And maybe he had more time away than we see. I don't know. But that just seemed very hard. And it seemed hard for the wives as well. Well, I don't think it was easy on anybody.
What kind of job does this fool got?
He had some sales job, some kind of sales.
He must have been a hell of a salesman because he must have been the guy that called me.
Right.
Because
let me tell you, man, I'm really tall too. Hello?
But like, it was like, because that's a lot of people to support.
Yeah. Well, the wives had jobs too. Many of them had jobs.
Oh yeah, but I mean, general,
for real. And some of those houses, man, were nice.
Well, I think at one point he got them all a house.
Yeah, they all lived in a cul-de-sac in Las Vegas. I know that. And before that, they all shared one house. And then now they all have their
in Utah,
own houses.
Right?
No, they were in. Well, they might be now.
Was it Arizona?
Where I'm at now, they're in. They're in Flagstaff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's where they're still at.
But yeah, so. I don't know. It's just been fascinating to watch because at first, like, my intention of watching it was so different than it is now.
Now you're like, God damn it! Why are you so mean to Mary?
Because like I
think there's a lady named Mary on there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, Mary. Yeah, he is kind of mean to Mary. Yeah, actually,
that's his first one, I think.
Yeah,
I haven't watched the show.
I felt bad for her. She's like, I want him to come over. Will he come over? And she just laughs it off. I'm like, man, that's sad.
He has a younger one that he kind of.
Well, he's done with her. He's like, I don't love you anymore. I'm not into you. Like that. Sad.
Yeah, he was pretty.
But she did go out on him. Like she did talk to a guy online and get catfished. So I'm like, I would be kind of broken over that too. I don't know.
I couldn't imagine trying to keep that many women happy because.
Right. But
like, there's times where you and Blanca, right?
Oh yeah,
where you guys have a hey, I need you to spend more time with me. Right?
I think universal that wives
that would be so hard.
Threaten to throw you out because Blanca and I have had those discussions. She's like, I just don't know anymore, and then a week later, like it's like nothing ever happened. And I'm not downplaying that. I get that there's times I need to reflect and change my ways, or else the marriage would come to an end because people can't put up with shit forever, right?
Yeah,
but. I'm listening to him. He's like, I've had 3 wives threaten to throw me out for 30 years. I'm like, this must be something that happens to everybody a lot.
It's got to. I'm trying to think. Has Alicia threatened to throw me out yet? I don't think so.
Well,
I don't think so.
I think once a year.
I think just kill me.
I get the threat. Just murder.
Murder.
It's not as bad.
I mean, I'm going out.
Honestly, I would rather go through murder than a divorce. I think I'd rather just kill me than divorce me. I don't have the energy for it. No, it's been an interesting watch. It's something I can watch while I'm painting and doing other work. So
yeah, it's very mindless.
I can understand what's happening. I don't like. I was watching The Fall of the House of Usher, the new Mike Flanagan show, which he's the guy that did Haunting of Hill House and that whole series. My absolute favorite was shit. Now I can't think of
Bly Manor.
No, Bly Manor was good too, but then he came out with the one with the church community on the island. God, I can't think of the name right now, but
I probably watched it. Haunting on.
it's not even a haunting. It's like it changes up. Because the first two were like hauntings of mansions.
Yeah.
This one was not at all. This was like very biblical, but in like a really interesting way. God, I can't think of the name. The best I've ever seen of him. But then this new one, getting back to the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
The new one, it's all based on Edgar Allan Poe stuff.
Oh, okay.
So you can listen to it, but if you're not watching the visuals, you're missing a ton of content, like context.
Yeah, it's not one of those you can hear the
You
background
can't-
noise.
Yeah,
And just,
I mean, like you really need to watch it. So like I missed out. I'm gonna have to rewatch the new one.
I'll have to check that out. What is it called?
It is called The Fall of the House of Usher,
Oh, okay.
and it's very much based on the Dirtbag Sackler family.
Oh.
Like it's verbatim, pretty much their story. So the folks
Are they all
behind
like from
Oxycontin-
England?
No, they're
Hello.
American, but they're
Oh.
very wealthy, and they killed people with their drugs.
Nice.
Like they pumped the market full of a drug that they knew would
Nice.
kill. The Sacklers essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not mentioning them.
They can
Thanks.
kill me if they want. I don't care. Like I know, but they're.
Bullet
I
goes
mean,
through.
I don't know. I've talked about them before. I have a real issue with people that pretend with their wealth of knowledge that they.
Well, pharmacy, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is like listening to that gal in court, just being, and I've said this before, like as a doctor that ran this company, like knowing what I know now, I don't know what I could have done differently. And like,
You could've
you're
made it-
either really stupid or you're an asshole, like one or the other.
She's an ass.
And you could be a stupid asshole. You could be both.
oh, then
But
it's
I'm like,
both.
to pretend that you're ignorant to this is a complete sham and disgusting. It's so.
You knew what your drugs were doing.
I'm irate about this whole thing because, like, they should, if they're so brilliant, then they should have to, for the rest of their life, fund cleanup efforts, like getting people clean. They should have to fund people going and getting clean, not us, the taxpayer. They should. And they should be using all their pharmacy resources to create a drug that helps people's brains get off of this shit.
Yeah.
They're behind it. They are the cause. Matthew Perry, the guy we were just talking about, he got in a ski accident and started using pills to help with the pain of his back.
Well, they,
And now we just lost him. One more person in a list of people that have been lost to this shit. And that's your legacy. That's what you've done.
yeah, drugs.
You know?
I mean, they design it to be
Yeah,
addictive.
they knew
to,
what it was.
To, how else are you going to get money? You
How
got to
do you
get your clients to come
How
back
do you
in.
give people morphine?
Clinical.
Clinical heroin, and you put it in a nice little pill
Yep.
that's slow release. It's still heroin.
It's the same shit. You're still going to.
I mean, give me a freaking break. And it's just, I don't know. I really hope that they get ripped apart in the legal system because they deserve it. There's no,
Is that still going on?
I don't know. They had some kind of a settlement. I don't know that they had to completely declare guilt, but it's like, who cares? We all know we're not stupid. There's a point where it's like they did something horrible. Maybe they disagree. And maybe I'm stupid and I'm just buying into a storyline. But
They got a lot of money. So
I watched years of the show Intervention before they had to take any of the blame, before anything, where you just saw kid after kid after kid
Oh.
in their 20s high on heroin, and the story was the same. They got in a football injury, or their leg got broken, or whatever happened, and they started taking pills from their doctor, and then they went to heroin. There's a connection there that any idiot could see. So there's no way that pharmaceutically trained doctors did not see.
Oh yeah, no, they know.
You were blind or just a complete.
Well, it gives you this feeling, so it's like, dude, I want to feel that again.
Right.
So I need more.
Right.
I need more.
And it's one thing to release something on the world and then go like, whoa, wait a minute. This is having an impact I didn't intend. We're going to stop this, or we're going to invest to figure out how to fix this. They didn't do it.
No.
They instead made a marketing plan for how to sell more of it. That's infuriating.
It's
That's
crazy.
worse than a murderer.
Oh, that's like a
And the fact
genocide.
that because they're rich, they're still out.
Yep.
Let's be real. I mean, if I went and killed as many people as they have personally killed, I consider it murder. What
Prove
they've done.
it. Prove it.
No, I did nothing. I was perfect. I don't know. It's like it's really frustrating that wealth can do that much for you. That you just have no
sad,
accountability
actually.
at all. And so many people have been utterly destroyed by
Well,
it.
it's crazy. Pharmacies are. So I work in the medical.
Yeah.
So a lot of our clinics, we have pharmacies and stuff, and those places are crazy packed.
Yeah.
They're always busy.
Right.
If pharmacy goes down, the world's over.
Mhm.
Like we've had pharmacists be like, call me, and they'll be like, "Why isn't your tech out here?" I expect when I make a call that they should be out here within minutes. Is what I was told by a pharmacist.
Well,
Do you know how much money we make this company? Is what I would get told. Because, like I said, man, pharmacy is crazy.
Yeah.
It's all them drugs, bro. But
I tell you, drugs, I'm not saying all pharmacy is bad. I mean, big pharma has brought a lot of great things to the world. So it's just when you are willing to put your profits over what you originally set out to do, drugs should help.
yeah,
And if your drug doesn't help, or if the
Go back to drawing
damage
boards.
it does, well, yeah, pull it and move on. So
you can because you can. I feel like you can design a drug that's not gonna. It's gonna benefit you, but it's also not gonna give you the like. Damn, I need more.
Well, right. And that's my
Yeah.
thing. I started thinking about this just last night. It makes me infuriated that they have this much wealth and they still have it. They were so smart that they can make this drug that got everybody hooked, but they're not smart enough to make a drug that helps people's brains get off of the drugs.
Yeah.
If
Well,
we
they don't
took
want them
their-
to get off the drugs.
If we took their billions of dollars away from them and all it could be used for was anti-drug resources, which I believe should happen, they
Yeah.
should be destitute and all their wealth should go towards fixing the societal problem that they created. Why are we having to step in and lose everybody that we love, and then on the backside as taxpayers have to pay for services or have our houses broken into or have homeless people living in tents behind our stores because you made billions of dollars?
yeah.
It's just absolutely infuriating that they get to keep living in a mansion and we get
It's not
to,
just them though, too. It's just
it's a lot of other people, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are specifically responsible
Yeah.
for OxyContin.
yeah.
And this is just my personal opinion. So whatever, but
I don't think anybody would disagree. But yeah.
well, they shouldn't. And
yeah.
whatever. The Sacklers want to sue me for $10 or something, whatever my fucking worth is.
It's worth.
Like, take me to court. Get the publicity there. That would be great. Get the fucking publicity.
Just weirdly blended. You hear to hear.
yeah, right. We don't make any money. Okay, we
Like
have
not my
nothing.
webcam.
Yeah, they're like we're taking you for all you're worth. Okay, $200 of debt. Is that what you want?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
No, I don't know. Whatever. Just
Take me to court for my God. It's Orlando.
it's just sad, man. Just sad. But anyway, let's talk about happier things.
yeah. So I was telling the kids the origin of the sloppy Joe.
I don't know the origin of the sloppy Joe.
Yes, it was named after a drunk man named Joe, and he made this dinner, and they called him Sloppy Joe.
Are
He
you
was a
for
drunk,
real? And it's sloppy.
Well, he was Joe, so he was drunk. Sloppy Joe. These
Is
are
it
sloppy
so
Joe.
sloppy because of his
Yeah.
drunken state?
Exactly.
Wow. So
Yeah.
is that the true story?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I made
was
that up
gonna
to the
say.
kids. They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Fucking, he was drunk. This guy named Joe.
Oh, there goes
He was fucking
Sloppy
sloppy
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
And there was ugly ass fucking food with burger and barbecue sauce, like a nasty bastard."
He thought it was ketchup and he made something new.
Yeah. He was stoned.
How delicious is a sloppy Joe, though? I haven't had a sloppy Joe in a long
Disgusting.
time.
I used to hate him.
Really?
I did. I hated him for years.
I haven't had him so
one
long that
It's
I
been
don't remember what
Yeah,
they tasted
I don't remember.
like.
I haven't had one. So growing up, I remember we had sloppy joes. We watched this movie called The Nest. It was about these cockroaches, and it was like
Oh,
it was that old '80s
Uh-huh.
movie. Like these,
the best kind of.
they were
movie.
like the killer cockroaches. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was, I remember it was like really gross.
Yeah.
And I was like 8.
Mm.
So I'm watching this eating sloppy joes, and I think something nasty happened that kind of reminded me of my sloppy joe.
Yeah.
Couldn't eat sloppy joes after
That was it.
That was it. Years. I'm talking anytime sloppy joes if got made, I was like, no, I'm not eating.
Well, what's in a sloppy Joe? Remind me what's in a.
Hamburger meat
Okay.
and then some sauce that makes it like soup sloppy.
Gooey.
Yeah. And it's just like
Goopy.
Yeah. Gets your manwich on. Manwich.
Okay.
That sounds so nasty.
Manwich.
I was in a manwich once. God, that was my college days.
Luckily, I was a bun, so
Luckily, I wasn't. I was the meat between the two pieces of bread. So yeah, no.
I think I want to be the outside bread. I don't think I want to be the inside bread, or or the
bread.
guy in the middle.
I just don't want to be any bread. I don't.
Yeah.
I'd rather be moldy bread.
I don't even really want to watch that scenario.
Manwich. That's so gross sounding too.
Yeah.
Manwich. What were you gonna bring something up, or did we? Oh yeah, the question of the week.
I do have a question of the week. So I had a really interesting scenario happen that made me wonder what the right ethical thing to do was. We live in a hot political time, as we all know, and we have lots of reasons to have issues with each other, right? So I go to the store where we ordered our flooring, and I go to pick it up, and there's a really nice guy that is going to help load the truck, right, with the pallets. And we have a daughter right now. Yeah. Who's just as kids are very open about very accepting of all different people. I honor that, and I share that value, right? So my views of like gay marriage, gay people, whatever, is very like accepting and open.
Yeah. Same.
Well, this gentleman, he was very kind in helping load my truck, and he commented that Elliot was a nice boy. And I said, yeah, well, I'm a teacher, so I wouldn't have it any other way. There's no way he's going to be rude. And he goes, oh, that's great. What do you teach? Blah, blah, blah. The normal, you say you're a teacher, normal conversation.
Yeah.
And then he starts talking about how his kids are in high school, middle school. I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah. And he goes, I go straight to the superintendent now. I don't go through teachers. I'm like, okay. Kind of like
as a
the
teacher,
first little radar going off, like, where are we going with this? And he's like, yeah, I mean, they're pushing all this gay stuff, which I work in the schools. We're not pushing gay stuff. I mean, like, the only thing that we will do is support any child. I mean, gay, straight, whatever. Everyone needs to feel safe and okay. That's it. That's the line. Like, we don't push anything. There's no agenda. There's nothing like that. It's just, we're not going to sit there and berate a kid for being gay. We're also not going to make a kid who's not gay be gay.
Hey, look at this gay kid.
Yeah, I mean, that's... But in his story was that they had, and these are his words, a gay wall.
Oh, what?
I don't know. That was his
gay
words,
wall?
That there was a gay wall that the gay kids would stand on, and his kids stood on the wall one day, and he's like, no, this isn't happening. I have not seen a gay wall in any of the schools I've been in.
I feel like a school wouldn't do that.
It kind of feels like something that they talk about on the internet, but doesn't really exist. There's a lot of that going on these days. But so anyway, he's talking this stuff, and I'm getting angry because I already had a bad day. But I'm just like,
where are you going with this?
I'm debating him. I already knew at this point where he's going with it. He's already gone there. He says that our kids are full of Satan.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, all right.
That sounds gay to me.
So the question I have is, what is the right thing to do in a scenario where you have very strong views and someone that is non-consequential to your life, not someone you're going to deal with? This guy was just loading my truck one time. I chose the higher ground. I made one comment about, like, I support, anyone in their life that's truly this or that. But I do see, the one thing I gave him is I do see a lot of kids who are just maybe curious or whatever. And
typical
instead of traditional world now, they just assume that they're gay. Right. And that concerns me as a parent. I don't want people thinking there's something they're not and getting, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but that's a different, but I also threw out there, like, I essentially support gay people, and truly gay people, I think, deserve to have their life. So I made that kind of a comment, but I was like, just wondering to myself, what is the right thing to do in that kind of scenario?
I think what you did was probably the right thing, because obviously I think if you would have went the other route and kind of started arguing the point,
Right.
that is where it kind of gets blown up to
A fight.
all of a sudden it gets political, or there's a fight,
It's
or
really heated.
it's a religious thing. And,
Right.
those are like those things that people really just,
But
for
that's
whatever
the-
reason,
But why did this guy bring that into our conversation? He had already
because
done
he
that.
was going to probably push Jesus on you if he would have
I
said something.
guess.
He would have been like,
Well, see, and that's
brother,
the thing too.
it's you need the Lord. You should have,
Yeah.
you should have said that you were gay.
I should have put my hand
Your
on his
husband, this
head.
is me and my husband's kid.
Yeah.
You're something, Elliot.
Yeah, right.
You should have done. You should have something like that, so he would have looked stupid.
I should have covered Elliot's ears and said, like, he is gay, so I need you to stop.
Well, no, truly, like,
Yeah.
put him in an uncomfortable spot, because
Right.
that's kind of uncomfortable too.
It was uncomfortable. I'm just like, I mean, it's one thing to have a point of view, like that's fine, but then
Earmuffs.
our children are full of Satan, and like, that's kind of extreme.
No, yeah,
I mean, even if you're religious, I think the viewpoint that anything you disagree with is Satan.
when why does gay always have to be?
Well,
A bad
because
thing.
a lot of
You
people,
know what I mean? Like-
traditional religious values, they don't believe they. However, the Bible
what-
has a dad that sleeps with his kids. There's some things.
and I want to say in the Bible, I think we've talked about this before, but I don't think there's a part in the Bible that says don't be
Specifically?
gay.
Yeah.
There's one that says don't mess with a little boy, which I agree with.
Right.
Don't mess with little kids. That's disgusting. But if you want to hump a dude or hump a chick, like
Right.
that's your own thing. Like who cares?
Well-
I think in curiosity's, I think a normal part of life.
And whatever happened to
You know?
Jesus will judge. This is the thing. I've read parts of the Bible, and there's one part in like specifically that really stuck out to me, and I don't remember the book.
Judge
that it
not,
came
yeah,
from.
ye be judged first.
Well, there
buddy.
is that, but he also in the Bible, and I think it was Jesus's actual words. You know, the words in red.
Oh, yeah.
It said,
Yeah, I
like,
remember when he put those in.
those of you that choose to be the leader of flocks will be judged more harshly than those that like violate the word of God.
Yeah.
So like if you take the position of leadership, if you're choosing to be an advocate of Jesus and blah blah blah, and if you are stepping into a place of judgment and of
Yeah.
all these things, like it never said in the Bible that you are supposed to go out and treat people like dirt. Who did Jesus go to? He went to the prostitutes. He went to everybody that was
There's-
sinful and had
there's-
issues.
There's actually like, well, I think we talked that he might have been in a relationship, at one time.
Jesus was gay.
Jesus was. What if he was?
What if he
What if we
dabbled
found
in?
out Jesus was kind of like,
You're
hey,
gonna tell me
I
at
kinda like
13
them both.
Jesus didn't think like, God, maybe I'm gay.
What
I
if
don't
Jesus
know.
like, damn, Joseph got a fat hog?
I'll see my dad's dick. I don't know.
He's his stepdad.
There's no way he's not my real dad.
That's not his real dad. That's his stepdad.
Yeah, I still that story with Mary. I just would have liked to have been there.
Oh yeah, I was just talking to Alicia about that story.
Yeah.
We went to Michael's yesterday,
Yeah.
and so I brought that up because it made me laugh just thinking about it. Because just thinking about it always
Yeah.
makes me laugh,
All right.
and it's just like, oh my god.
I'm
Like-
pregnant. He's like, but we haven't had sex. You said you wanted to wait till we were married.
My thing was like, I go, what if they were like antisocial, and then these people just start showing up with gifts, like motherfucker, like.
right.
I just had a baby. I don't need all these people in
Right.
my room. Like, can you guys leave, please? Like,
Yeah.
I
what?
just got told that my wife's pregnant. For one, we haven't fucked, but she's
Right.
pregnant. Yeah, go.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with a
Oh,
lot right
it's
now.
God's kid. Yeah, God's kid.
yeah.
For God's kid, this little fucker sure does a lot of bad shit. I don't know.
He ain't very smart. You're gonna be a carpenter.
I mean, like, we know that Jesus is like a real person, right? And like
Yeah, yeah.
Joseph and Mary were real people. So like, I'm
See, I
curious what their day-to-day life.
I feel like he was just like a typical
A
prophet.
kid, right?
Yeah, he was probably a typical kid. Did kind of did little assholey kid things
Yeah.
and messed up. Just
Cut
like
his
any,
dad's wood on purpose wrong, and his dad's like, I thought this board was longer.
yeah,
Yeah.
whittled the wrong thing.
Whittled like sex dolls. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus, you can't be doing this stuff.
What if they were in this like the sex toy industry? Wood dildos
Oh my
and shit.
God.
Sex has been around since forever.
How different would that have been?
I bet you they already had
Jesus
them.
made sex toys.
Oh god, that'd be wild.
Wow.
Is that blasphemy for us just saying that? Are we going to hell?
I'm probably already going, but
Nah, we're good people.
look. I think Jesus has a sense of humor. I've always said this. I think that
No, I
Jesus and
agree.
God have a sense. I think the way that you treat other people matters way more than how you joke around. I think Jesus would look at that. And I know we're joking a lot, but the way that I was raised, my pastor would probably disagree and be like, no, you're going to go to hell. But the way that he taught me, the true values, the things that are so easy to take for granted matter so much more than some of the other things, you know? Like if I'm going around being like, you deserve hell and you're disgusting because I don't like you and you're not good enough for God.
Yeah, that's like,
to me, that's worse than all the other sinners. Like,
oh yeah,
you're not the judge.
I'm better than you.
See, and it comes to your heart.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like, and that's what the Bible's all about. It's about your heart. It'll be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for like a rich man to enter heaven, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
And all that doesn't mean that you can't have like financial wealth, but like if you are out for the wrong thing all the time, or if your intentions aren't pure.
Yeah, like, so if you're the Snookers or whatever the hell the fucking family's called, that's farmers.
The Sacklers, yeah.
The Sacklers. It's close.
Okay, look, if I can really get sued, let's just call them the Snookers now. And then you guys know who we're really talking about. This fucking Snooker family.
Yeah. But like, no, I think that's a lot of times it's just people get real judgy and
yeah.
You know what? I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
Fuck everyone.
Everyone's bad.
Just do your thing. Be a good person. You throw out good. Right. I think I always believed, even back when I was doing church and stuff, the good you throw out is the good going to come back.
Absolutely.
You know, like, so if you're a dick things are going to happen to you.
Well, of course.
But if you're a good person, a lot of times as a good person,
bad things will happen to you.
Hey, perfect example. I helped someone I think their truck did something. So me and Alicia stopped. I helped push him, get him going, make sure he was off the road. What happens to me? Doing my good deed, I lose my truck, right? Mm-hmm. Literally the next day. So it's like, right. Yeah, bad things still happen, but in the long run, I still had Tom was able to be there for me because
right.
I think because of the situation, like I did something good, like something good came out of
Absolutely.
It. Absolutely. So so I'm down, thousands of dollars.
Though, but like you look at it and when you project good things into the world, it's going to affect those people and the way that they interact back with you.
Yeah.
If you scowl at somebody, are they going to feel very good and want to have a good interaction with you? But if you smile at someone, they might still say fuck off.
That's my problem.
But what? Not smiling?
I smile too much, and that's why people come to my office.
Yeah. Hi.
They're like, hey, Jess, how you doing? I'm good. And they start talking about everything, and I'm like, I didn't want this.
I'm busy. I'm very busy.
No, no, like I said, the thing with me is I will think that, and I'll be like, oh my God, can you shut the fuck up? But then I'm like, they'll say something. I'm like, I'll ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I mean, what'd you do then? You know, like, I'm like, fuck, stop talking.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have these conversations, like, stop asking.
My voice is saying, go on, but my brain's saying, I stopped listening 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
That's the awkward part of being, like, I don't know.
I like people,
nice
but I don't.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I don't want to hurt your feelings, but can you get the fuck out?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. I hate being the mean guy. I had to do that yesterday to my daughter, you know. Even though it wasn't mean, but at 3 a.m, they need to keep it down so I can
kids,
sleep.
If I've asked once beyond that,
it was
not
twice.
Mean. It's just their fault. Yeah. No, Elliot, he's been.
It was a short convo. That's how I make them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hey, keep it down. It's fucking 3 a.m. I need you guys to go to sleep.
Yep.
And I left. I didn't even say good night or love you. Which I started feeling bad. I was like,
you shouldn't feel bad for that one.
I was like,
because you'd asked her to go to bed 2 hours before.
Yeah, and they did go to bed, but they didn't go to sleep.
Talking.
They would just talk. They were being, they're girls hanging out.
And they're at that age.
If our house was more soundproof, I wouldn't have cared.
Right.
But since I can hear your conversation, I kind of care.
Yeah. And you're at the age, I don't need to know what you're talking about.
Chloe got a booming voice, though.
Yeah. No volume control.
Nope. I can hear it all.
Man.
No soundproof. Anyway.
Just resonates in the ceiling, the floor joists.
Anyway.
Well.
Welcome back, guys. That's 102nd episode or something like that.
102.
That's crazy.
102. Isn't that nuts?
It is
We've been at this for over 2 years now.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it feels like a very short amount of time. Sometimes it feels like that was a whole world ago. We were still in the middle of COVID shit back when we started.
I know.
We had to wear
We
masks.
started when Just Friends started, I think, or Just Friends. Oh, Bad Friends.
Oh, really?
Because they
And they're
started just
trying to catch up with us to this day.
Yeah, they are
Yeah.
losers. I'm just kidding. No,
Man.
their show's fucking hilarious.
They're funny.
But anyway, you guys have a good day.
Yeah.
Have a
great
great
week. We'll see you next
Somewhere.
time.
Boom, boom.